the European Policy Center with the Minister of European Affairs of Montenegro, Maida Gorčevi. Your Excellency, thank you very much for taking time on your visit to Brussels to come by the EPC and engage with our audience in a discussion about your country's European integration ambitions, efforts, and expectations at this critical geopolitical juncture. I think it is safe to say that we live in rather complex, uncertain, and even dangerous times from a political, economic, and security point of view. And yet, these challenging circumstances can also be regarded as a breathtaking opportunity for the European Union to mature and to become stronger by reinforcing its strategic alliances with like-minded neighbors and by working together with them to secure peace, prosperity, and liberal democracy on the continent. And if the European Union is to grasp this opportunity and enlarge, Montenegro is in a particularly promising position because it is the country that is most aligned with the Union's acquis, and it is the only aspiring member state to have received the Interim Benchmark Assessment Report, a positive one on the rule of law, which therefore paves the way for the final stage of negotiations. So what has contributed to Montenegro's stellar performance, and what is your country doing at the moment to ensure that it stays in the first line to potentially join the European Union in the coming years? We are very keen, Minister, to hear your reading about the present situation and also any kind of details that you wish to share with us about what Montenegro is actively doing to seek this so-called geopolitical momentum for enlargement. I will pass you the floor. And following your speech, I will invite our participants in the audience to join our conversation with any questions or comments that they might have. If this is agreeable to you, then over to you, Minister.
Well, good morning, everyone. Corina, thank you very much for the introductory remarks. I'm very happy to be here in Brussels today and to speak about Montenegro. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? What is our main goal? And this is the main goal of ours, the EU membership, full membership of the Montenegro. And we always say 28 by the 28. I'm certain that this is not only a slogan and a political will. This is also something that is tangible. This is also something that we really work very, very hard on it. And I'm certain that all my colleagues back in Montenegro, but here also in Brussels, and I see also here Ambassador and a few of them, working very hard so this ambitious goal becomes a reality. When it comes to Montenegro, you all know that this is really a small country, but even the fact it is very small, we had huge steps towards the EU. And I must tell that 2024 was a year where we succeeded to work a lot, where we succeeded not to have any excuses, where we wanted not to speak about excuses and to see whose fault is it that we are 12 years negotiating, but to speak about results and to make results and to speak about what are our next steps and what is something that will motivate the whole, not only the government, but society, so we can fulfill our main goal. So the 2024 was the year where we really succeeded to make a momentum inside the Montenegro. The political will, we organized everyone in Montenegro, not only the political parties, but the whole administration. And we also organized civil society and the media to speak about our European integration and to speak about IBAR. And you mentioned it. Yes, this is the first IBAR ever, not only for the Montenegro as a candidate country, but also for the European Commission as well. And every person in Montenegro was Googling about IBAR, what that means. Well, that meant for Montenegro a new stage and the final stage. So now we can finally speak speak about the closing of the chapters. Yes, this is very ambitious goal, and our goal is to fulfill everything and to close all the chapters by the end of 2026. So in 2028, we can speak with Montenegro as a member state, and someone who is going to share our seeing of the whole process of the candidacy to the other candidate countries. So at this stage, why this is very important for Montenegro to have this momentum, because to keep up with the good things that were in the last year. And I really must say that last year was something where we organized 3 intergovernmental conferences, where we had the IBAR, where we provisionally closed 3 chapters in December after 7 years of not closing any chapters. So that's why it was very important. But not only that, we succeeded to join SEPA, Single European Payment Area. We succeeded also to vote and to have now to speak now about the growth plan agenda. Also, having in mind that the reform agenda is the most ambitious one, because everything that we are doing for the reforms is also something that is involved and go hand in hand with the negotiating process as well. So this year we have an ambition plan to at least close, and it is very how to say not good when we speak about the number of the chapters that we are planning to close, but at least officially to close the 6 chapters. Those chapters are the chapters 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, and 13. I'm certain that everyone here knows, I'm speaking in numbers, that everyone here knows what are the chapters are. And yes, yet there is a lot of challenges to close all these chapters, but the next year, it is this year we need to be prepared for the next year, where we need to close something less than 20 chapters as well. It is very, very hard. We will have a lot of challenges, but it is doable. Why it is very important for Montenegro to be a leader, not only for as a leader and the front runner in the region, and when we are speaking about the process, is also to motivate the others, and this is something that we are doing. So last year we had an open accession for the Bosnia and Herzegovina. We spoke about also this year Albania opening the cluster and several of the chapters. We have in every country in the region something positive on the EU path, and this is also something that Montenegro is having as a role as a front runner to share the experience with the others, and also to share experience with the Moldova and Ukraine, also when it comes to the negotiating process and where we stand at the moment. So we see this role not only on the technical level while we are closing the chapters and ticking the box, to say like that, also to work on the reforms inside the country, and also to share this experience with the other countries as well. Why is this important for the EU as well? Because Montenegro is a proof that enlargement is alive, and Montenegro is a proof that if you have the political will inside your country, if you are dedicated to have the reforms and not only to speak about European path, but really to act like a member state, then this is a proof that European Union really wants you to join the club. And I'm certain when we are speaking about Montenegro, there is a lot of positive things. This year we are speaking about the closing of the chapters, and next year. And after that, we will speak about the political will of the EU. For the Montenegro, we are certain that even the fact this is going to be a hardest job ever, that we will succeed to close all the chapters. But from the other hand, there is also a question for the EU: are they ready for the Montenegro? Because we are ready. And when it comes to the other things, when it comes to the reforms, I must tell that European Commission is really truly a friend and a partner in this process. Without their help, I'm certain that it will be very, very hard to have everything fulfilled on time. And I must share with you one of the details why this process is also where we see it as a merit-based and also a fair process. What is our main expectation from the European Commission and the member states as well, is also while we are ticking the box and closing the chapters and closing the benchmarks, still there is plenty of time for the European Commission and the member states to revise all the drafts or the final reports for each chapter, and before any official closure on the IJC, we need to send those final reports 4 or 5 or 6 months before. So there is a plenty of time. So any member states is certain that we fulfilled everything that we also written in those final reports. So let's hope that we will have the next IGC most probably in June. There is still waiting list from the waiting list from the European Commission, which chapters are going to be in June officially closed. At this moment, internally, there are, and I'm speaking now internally, so there is not any feedback from the European Commission and the member states about the exact date when these chapters are going to be closed. But at this moment, internally closed is the chapter 4 and also the chapter 5 public procurement. Still, I would like also to mention one thing that was something that we spoke about it in December. That was the chapter 31. Even the fact that that chapter was on the agenda for the officially closure because of bilateral disputes between the Croatia and Montenegro, this chapter is not blocked, but it is just waiting for some other IJC so that it can be officially closed as well. Montenegro fulfilled all the closing benchmarks for the closure of that chapter. When it comes to the negotiating with the Croatia, I must say that it is going in having very positive response from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It is going in a good direction. So most probably this is the chapter that we can close also during this year. We will see about the exact dates. But from our side, we are very optimistic. So this chapter can also be provisionally closed on some of the IJCs in upcoming months. I'm mentioning this because there is always some of the question is the Croatia blocking Montenegro. I must say that we don't see this as a blockage. We see this as an opportunity to resolve all the problems and the disputes that are here. Well, more than, this is not the problem of this government. These disputes are more than 20 years actually, and it is better to resolve them now than to resolve them later in 2027 when we expect all the 27 member states to vote for Montenegro and to see us in the club of the European Union. But I can speak like this if you'll let me, and please, I would like also to give you much more space for your questions and also the questions from the audience, and very happy also to be here today and to see the full a lot of you here, even the fact of the Brussels weather and the rain outside. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Minister. I think I'll follow up with a few questions myself, and then maybe we'll open up for discussion. And one thing I wanted to ask is that, of course, this new momentum for enlargement has been prompted by very specific circumstances with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and as we seem to be nearing some sort of peace deal, peace agreement, and potentially leading to the conclusion of the war in some form or another. Are you concerned that this momentum, this initial momentum, will subside, and the EU's appetite for enlargement will again go back to being very reduced, or ending up in a situation where Ukraine comes in for geopolitical reasons, and then the EU becomes again indisposed for further enlargement because of Ukraine's specific circumstances? Are you concerned about such a scenario or an option?
To be honest, I would be concerned if the war doesn't end. That is the main concern, because of the stability, because of the security. And I'm not only speaking about the European Union, I'm speaking about the peace in the world. Yes, the geopolitics is always defining this enlargement window when it comes to the candidate countries. And we are aware that the Russian aggression in Ukraine opened this door not only for the Montenegro, but for the other candidate countries. And the Montenegro is using this opportunity because we see this as a historic opportunity. But what we see during this process is also that if you work hard, if you have political will, and if there is a will, not only in the Montenegro, but also in the European Union, then those doors are going to be open as well. yes, it's not that it is a concern that geopolitics can close a little bit that door, but I'm certain that this agenda that we are having to fulfill everything and to close all the chapters by the end of 2026, it's doable, having on mind geopolitics, having on mind internal political situation, having on mind everything that is on the table. So my concerns would go if the peace doesn't happen. And let's hope that Ukraine is also the place inside the European Union. But also, let's not forget why the Montenegro is important for the European Union as well. We already showed as a NATO country that we are a credible partner, that we are a partner that you can trust on. We are 100% aligned with the common foreign security policy. We are already using euro, and we are that small that you are not going to see us actually. So there is no any problems that Montenegro can make to European Union except to bring new energy, except to share some new knowledge when it comes to the enlargement. And I must be very open in European Commission. There is not a lot of people that were witness of the enlargement, because the Croatia was how many years ago became a member state. So we are going to bring new energy. We are going to be to bring also a bridge for the region, and also for the other countries to motivate them. And this is not only to show that the enlargement is live. Mm-hmm. This is just one perspective. This is also to show why the enlargement is important for the stability, unification of the European Union, and also to bring some new values and I always say new energy, because 27 is just incomplete. Without 28, it's really incomplete.
Right, and of course, you mentioned hard work, and that you're committed to doing the hard work, and I'm wondering for this year. If we just focus on the short to medium term, let's say, what are some of the key challenges that you anticipate, and how do you plan to address them with regards to fulfilling the reforms and the necessary work?
For this year, I wouldn't say that there are a lot of challenges for the closure of these chapters because we are in the final stage. We are already, when it comes to the closing benchmarks, we are already in communication with the European Commission when it comes to the laws and the strategies. So we are in this kind of communication and dialogue when it comes to the approval from the European Commission side. So in the Parliament, we are going to have something like 20 laws in June. So in July, all the chapters are going to be internally closed. So in December we can officially wait for the IGC so we can close them. But what I can see as a huge problem is to keep up the motivation inside the Montenegro. And when I say to keep up the motivation is because there is a lot of work and a lot of pressure and a lot of deadlines. So the time is something that is always a ticking, and with every day we see how many reforms and the job are left. So this year, even the fact that there is a lot of chapters to be closed next year, we are this year focused on them. For example, the chapter 23 and 24, the rule of law, and the fact there is 3 closing benchmarks in each chapter. So in total, 6 of them. Those reforms are really something that are challenging for the Montenegro, and it is not only the government reforms; those are very connected to the judiciary and the parliament. And this is something where we are aware that this is the signal that we are sending to the member states and the European Commission. If we work on the rule of law, then all the others are not going to be the challenge or the problem. But still, the 27 chapter is going to be also something that is going to be, how to say, a huge challenge for us. And this is not only for the Montenegro, this is the challenge worldwide, globally seeing when it comes to the environment situation. Also the energy sector, and there is plenty of the things where we need to act as a team. We finally have this motivation inside the administration, but also we need to keep up. What I also see as a small administration, Montenegro is, and a small population, we don't have enough experts that can help us to close the chapters. So we really rely a lot on the member states, and we really rely a lot on the expertise from the European Commission as well. It is really helping us at this stage, but I can also see that the good thing is that we have a plan. We know what are the flaws, we know what are the challenges, and where to address them. So it is going to be much easier, but it is going to be really, really hard, but doable.
Okay. So if I can push you just a little bit further on how you're addressing this problem of capacities, and then to ask with regard to offering motivation to the entire society in Montenegro to keep up to keep the reform momentum going. Do you think that the EU has a role in that regard, and it's doing its share in offering sufficient incentives and support for the kind of work that you're putting in? I mean, you briefly mentioned the growth plan, and I wonder if you want to spare a few words about how you see that initiative and what Montenegro is doing in that context.
When it comes to the growth plan, I think that this really is a great initiative and instrument coming from the European Commission that was supported by the member states. By the beginning of May now, we are going to have also the first tranche, something less than 27 millions that we are going to spend on the reforms, and like 14 millions are going to spend in the 3 infrastructural projects for the energy sector. We see it as a good motivation, not only for the Montenegro, but also for the other candidate countries from the region as well, to keep up on the reforms. It was never about the money, and I always repeat this. We are not doing this because of the finance, but it is always good when you have some financial motivation from the other side, because investing in the reforms is something where we really need the finance support from the member states and European Commission as well. When it comes to the growth plan, we see this also as a good motivation for some of the regional initiatives. I already mentioned that we joined SEPA. There are a couple of other initiatives that are supported from the growth plan, for example, the green corridors, for example, the Wi-Fi also for the Western Balkan countries and in our municipalities as well, critical medicine row. And there is a couple more initiatives that are helping us as a region to have this gradual integration into EU. And I think also that this is good because our citizens can see the benefits before we are fully inside, full member of the EU as well. For Montenegro, this is also something that is short term, because even the fact that growth plan is from the 24 until the 27, we are seeing this as something that is going to help us on our EU path, and we see this also as a good motivation for everyone. When it comes to other motivation from the European Commission, I see them really as a partner, and after a long time, they see us as a partner as well. We have really good communication and strategically planning on the closure of their chapters. We are aware that European Commission also administrative capacities, and they don't have only Montenegro as a candidate country, so they also need to share their administrative capacities for the other candidate countries as well. But now we have a good plan where we are with constant communication when we are going to send some to them, so we have approval from their side, and the good planning is also the basic, so we can be successful. I think that this is a good approach from the European Commission to have the good planning with reliable partner. When, for example, if we say that we are going to vote all the laws in June and to send the final reports on the closing of the chapters in July, European Commission already can make a plan of how they are going to revise them, to make their meetings, and then to have feedback from the European Commission. So this constant communication is something that is really helping us to better motivate, not only, and to better organize, because I think that the good organization is something that is helping us so we can fulfill everything on time.
And then, of course, you mentioned Croatia and the fact that you're actually welcoming this these tensions as an opportunity to resolve any outstanding issues before you join, and assuming that will go well and smoothly, what can we think of of Montenegro as a member state? Will Montenegro in its own turn be a constructive part of the club if it joins, given that bilateral issues, there's no shortage of them in the region. So is there any sort of guarantee or reassurances that when it will come to Montenegro, if it comes to Montenegro being in the position of a member state, that it will actually not block or put spanners in the wheels of other countries' accession processes?
This is really hard process for the whole country, and I think that we shouldn't have that luxury tomorrow to make this job harder for any candidate country. For Montenegro, we will act as a bridge and as a constructive partner, like we are doing this now. We are always supportive for all the regional initiatives. We are already now in this phase, even the fact that our administrative capacities are very limited. We now share our knowledge and with all the candidate countries. So what is the point tomorrow if we are not supportive and not sharing this knowledge to the other countries that already are working to join the club? Because this is really, nothing is easy. The closing of I always say we are in the final stage and we are now just closing the chapter. Is not just, believe me, all these reforms are very, very hard to explain them to the political parties, to explain them to the citizens, to explain them to the civil society. Why are you doing this? What is there for us? Because some of the benefits for the EU, they are not visible at the time when we are voting for something and doing something. Those benefits are just going to come in upcoming years. So let's make this a little bit easier when it comes to Montenegro. We are going to be constructive. We are going to be helpful for the other candidate countries. And let's hope that we can bring some of those countries. For example, we would love to see, for example, we are very happy that Albania is moving forward that, with this speed that they are having at this moment. I'm certain that, and I had some of the meetings with my colleagues in Albania. They are also having one good agenda that is also doable. They're planning to open 2 more clusters by the end of the year. So it's more than 10 chapters. That's a lot of work. So if Montenegro is not supportive to that, and to look how to block someone and not to support someone, then what we can bring to the European Union, I'm seeing from that stage. But also turning back to Croatia, Croatia is very supportive for Montenegro. We have a lot of experts coming from the Croatia to help Montenegro in the EU accession. We have a lot, they were very, very friendly and very cooperative when it comes also for our NATO membership. They really helped us. These disputes is something that, like I said before, something that is better to resolve them now than tomorrow, once we are in the EU, or at least a couple months before the officially our membership. So I'm seeing this as a constructive dialogue between 2 neighbors, and I'm seeing this very positive note. I think that in Croatia interest is something that that Montenegro should be a next member as well.
Wonderful. At this point, I want to give you the chance to come in. If there's any questions or comments from our participants, please, now is the moment. Okay, have one there. I'll collect a few questions.
Thank you. Hello, Minister. Hello, Corina. David Hoyes from the European Economic and Social Committee. So you mentioned earlier that civil society was involved when IBAR was being promoted and fulfilled. I was just wondering, how is organized civil society involved at this stage of the accession negotiations? We know that you were very supportive in meetings of the EU Montenegro Joint Consultative Committee for Civil Society, and there was a very good development recently that your government your ministry is actually replying to the recommendations from these joint declarations from these meetings, and we hope that this excellent practice will continue, and we will promote it also to the other candidate countries that have joint consultative committees. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Maybe I should, because really sometimes I have a short memory, so I forgot sometimes the question. So sorry about it. Yes, we have a really strong civil society in Montenegro. I'm very proud of that. They are very constructive. They are speaking a lot against the government sometimes in a good, constructive way, and I always support that, because this is something that makes us also to motivate us to work and to be more transparent when it comes to a lot of reforms and a lot of work to do. At this stage, they had an invitation to be the part of the negotiating process and the whole negotiating in all the negotiating groups for all the chapters. In most of these groups, we have their representatives from the NGOs and from the civil society as well, and this is also a good practice. So they are involved while we are working on the closure of the chapters and everything that is connected to the agenda, EU agenda. From the other hand, we need to involve them more, to be very honest. And this is also a task for the Ministry of European Affairs. So every month we have consultative, almost every month to be more precise, we have consultative meetings with civil society and NGOs in Montenegro on specific topic who is related to European integration. So there is also plenty of space and time where they can share to be constructive. For example, if it is something connected to the chapters, it's something connected to the reform agenda, but also always wanting to keep them motivated. They are someone who can who is very visible not only in Montenegro but in the region and the EU as well. And I really appreciate their constructive approach at this moment. I'm certain that without them we cannot enter the EU. To be honest, they're always having something that are saying that we need to be more transparent in this process, and this is something that they are sharing to the Ministry of European Affairs and to the government as well. Now we are trying to find with them some of the new initiatives with the civil society NGO, how to involve them more, so there can be more visible and vocal on the places where it is really relevant. But very thank you very much for that question, because I see them as an ally on this way, and I'm certain that they will help us on the reforms that are going to be very hard for the whole society as well.
I know that Dusan wants to ask a question, and okay, we have it.
Hello, good morning. You hear me? Yes. Dusan Gajic, correspondent for Serbian media mainly. I was wondering if you could explain a bit the timetable, if I can say so, of the closing of negotiating chapters. Why you expect only one in June and then 6, 7 by the end of the year, and then the big number in the next year, acceleration? Is it only a technical matter because of the procedures, or perhaps there is no enough of political backing for opening more already now? And speaking about the political will, what do you hear from the member states? If you are good in doing your work and really performing reforms, are they ready, especially some capitals, to back you and to really allow for 28 member states in 2 years? Or perhaps there could be some other questions raised, like, is EU ready? Maybe some internal reforms are necessary before that. So do you have the feeling of political backing for your goal? Thank you.
Thank you very much. When it comes to this dynamic plan of the closing of the chapters, let's not look officially how many chapters are going to be closed. For some of the chapters, there are a couple of the closing benchmarks, and they're, how to say, short timeline while we need to fulfill them and then to officially close them. That's why for some of the chapters, for example, the rule of law, the chapter 27, there is a lot of closing benchmarks that should and must be fulfilled fulfilled. And just because of time, we cannot fulfill them in a short period of time, because it's not only the laws and the strategies. There is a lot of track record. There is a lot of experts that should come from the European Union. And to be a couple of months in Montenegro with our administration and to see where we are at the moment. So this is just more of good planning, not based on the numbers when we are going to close all these chapters. Looking at this moment, internally, we have on the table internally closed 2 chapters, but there is plenty of time for to revise them by the European Commission, COELA, COREPER. Then you have the member states, everyone involved, until you have the officially feedback from the European Commission that we can go officially on the IJC. When it comes to the other 4 or 5 chapters that we are wanting to close by the end of the year, they're going to be closed internally in June. So by the end of the year, we are going to close internally much more the chapters that are going to be provisionally closed next year. The main problem is time. To be very honest, the main problem is time, not that much administrative capacities, not that much political will in Montenegro, because there is a political will inside the government and inside the parliament, almost 2/3 in the parliament voting, and always for the EU laws, we had opposition on board, which is also a good thing for the Montenegro, sending a strong message to all our partners that we are not dividing when it comes to the EU path. But when it comes to the things, let's not rush with some of the reforms, and also we need time to this is not only the ticking of the box when it comes to the closing benchmarks. Yes, this is something that Ministry of European Affairs is looking through this technically on one board that we are having. Okay, but this is much more from that. These are the reforms that are going to count, and that are matters for the citizens first, and then for the EU, because everything that we are doing first for the citizens. If we now tick a box and in practice it's not working or it doesn't have any result, why we are doing it? So this is why we need a lot of time. That's why it's going to be a lot of challenge for the European Commission, mostly for the next year, because to revise 20 final reports for the closing of the chapters and also for the member states and everyone else is going to be a lot of work, not only for the Montenegro. But when it comes to the capitals, I can see for the first time that this support is not a declarative one, that this support is also coming when they ask, how can we help you? What expertise is needed for you so you can be much closer to the EU? And I'm speaking now also about the countries that are not that many pro-European optimism, to say so. This is coming from the countries that see Montenegro as someone who can bring something to European Union in those values, not only because of the enlargement and ticking the box when it comes to the empty chair. This is just much more of it. Maybe it's geopolitics, maybe because it's of their internal things, but I see this also from some of the countries that they want merit-based. They are really happy to see that someone wants to join EU. It's working very hard on it. So at this moment, I'm not sure and I'm not certain 100% how all 27 countries are going to vote in 2027. But from our side, the main goal is to do our homework, to fulfill everything that is needed on technical way, and then on political level also to explain why Montenegro is important for everyone. So in 2027, let's hope that all 27 countries will see Montenegro as a part of that club that we all want to join in. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Iliriana Jonia. I'm a research analyst at Carnegie Europe here in Brussels, born and raised in Montenegro. I mentioned that because I couldn't be any happier that nowadays Montenegro is the front runner, and I really hope it will be the first country to exceed. Having said that, the country which we hope arrives to the EU will be one with a very strong and healthy democracy. And in that regard, I have 2 questions. For one, in the last couple of days, we read a lot about the visit of the head of the Serbian Orthodox Church to Moscow, and the talks that he had also directly with Putin, where Montenegro was mentioned as one of the regions where he hopes to have Russian support in the future, who has been following Montenegro's politics, not only the last couple of years, but through the decades, knows that the Serbian Orthodox Church has a very strong political role in Montenegro. It's only due to this actor that the change of government was possible after 30 years. How do you see the current situation? What is the current government doing to safeguard, let's say, its country from these external influences and keep the secular role it has, stay committed to its constitution and EU integration path? And secondly, being a native of Ulcinj, of course, I have to bring up also the agreement between Montenegro and the United Arabic Emirates, UAE, about the concession of the Long Beach, which is one of the natural treasures, not only of Ulcinj, but of Montenegro. And in that regard, a lot has been said about intransparent investments, sped up processes, tenders that do not follow exactly EU law, etc. But not a lot has been said about the fact that this is the center of the Albanian minority in the country, and the protection of minority rights is one of the core values of the EU. So the selected businessman has said that if they get this project, the local community will be able to sell more chickens and shampoo. Now, to have a sustainable development in the country, I think the government should care how it develops also the cities which are further away, let's say, from the center. How do you comment on everything that has happened so far? Because we know the agreement has been now approved also by the parliament. Thank you.
Great questions, and not easy ones. When it comes to the Russian influence, I must say that the hopes are one, the reality is the different. Well, Russia can hope that Montenegro is not going to be the member of the EU, but our main goal of the government is that this is our and the only main goal for this government to fulfill and to be the full member. So I'm not how to say concerned at all when it comes to some influences from the third sides or some statements that are coming from Russia or any other countries, because we have our main goal. We are going on in one direction, and we also are very aware that with every step forward to the EU, we are going to have much more statements from the other side. Just let's be focused on the things that matter. So in that way, we don't need really to speak about them and to just go to finish our main job and the goal, which is the full membership by the 2028. When it comes to the agreement with the United Arab Emirates, I must tell you that there was a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of things that were spoken in the last couple of days that are not in the paper. For the audience, just explained in the parliament, there were voted two agreements with United Arab Emirates for the economic development of Montenegro without any specific location or specific project or specific investments investor. At this moment, everything is aligned with the EU procedures, everything is aligned with the public procurement of Montenegro, and everything is aligned when it comes to the SAA. For Montenegro at this moment, it is very important to have a lot of investments and investors from the EU, but also from the other countries, having in mind that G2G is something that is happening not only in Montenegro, but this is also happening inside the member states as well. So, for example, Italy has an agreement with the United Arab Emirates, for example, and I'm certain that there is plenty of more other countries from the European Union as well. At this moment, the first stage is already voted, and this is these two agreements inside in the parliament. The second stage is to now make communication with the government and with of the United Arab Emirates that are going to responsible also for the investments and for the investors, and then to negotiate with them over the location, because we must I must share with you, our north of Montenegro is not that developed, and some of the municipalities, lady mentioned one of the municipality from Montenegro that is really not developed like it should be. So it is already having some help from the funds, from the state funds, from the Montenegro. So the main goal of this government also to develop undeveloped municipalities inside the Montenegro. What this means, if there is interest of the local municipality, if there is an interest of the investments of the investors to invest in these local municipalities, we as a government are going to support this. This doesn't mean that we are going to have any investments in any local municipalities if the local municipality is against that. At this moment, local municipality of Ulcinj, the town on the south, where mostly is Albanian nationality people are living there, are against this kind of the investments. And that's fine. The government is going to find some other location or to find some other opportunities how to help the municipality so they can develop more. At this moment, don't worry about anything. Nothing is going to happen against the will of the local municipalities or the population in Ulcinj. There was a plan to have some of the projects on the Long Beach in Ulcinj. If there is no interest of the local municipality or anyone, then we can find some other solutions. The Prime Minister had already the meetings with the other mayors of the local municipalities. All of them sent some of the projects where they can see that some of the investments should and can happen in those municipalities. One of the good things is also that we are planning to have investment conference with the European Union as well. And this is something where it is our dedication to show that Montenegro can develop more, that there is a huge potential to have investments. There is a huge potential also for some of the areas, for example, tourism, agriculture, digital agenda, green agenda, and also to see what companies and what member states are interested in, not only the member states, but also the other countries that are interested, but always taking care of the first and the most important Montenegrin interest and what is there also for the Montenegrin citizens. So at this stage, please don't be how to say, concerned about the things. More is in the media, there is always more of the things that they are trying to explain that it is in reality. In reality, we have only two frameworks that for the cooperation agreements with the United Arab Emirates. And after that is the phase 2, where we need to negotiate with the government of United Arab Emirates and to find investments and then to find location projects, etc. So it will also need time and also need a lot of explanations and a lot of meetings with all the local municipalities, civil society, NGO who wants to be also involved to take care of the environment, of the minorities, to take care of all our obligations to the EU, because we want to have investments in the Montenegro. This is like a short term to have investments, so then tomorrow we can be economically strong member of the European Union. But our main goal is full membership in the EU, so we are not going to jeopardize with any investor or anything that is happening in Montenegro.
And we have a final question from the audience. If I'm correct, please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, this is the next step to communicate. First of all, now we need to communicate inside the Montenegro to see what is the interest for the local municipalities to find the location, to find the projects, then to make a legal team who is going to negotiate over most possibly investor, and then to see that everything must be aligned with domestic and EU laws as well. And after that, once we have everything drafted, then we should inform European Parliament, European Commission, member states, because at this phase, we only have some assumptions. We cannot share that there is 100% which project or location. At this phase, we only have a framework for the cooperation that can and should happen in the future, but without any exact details, I'm certain that it's not going to be responsible from the Montenegrin side to share something in advance that it is not agreed or that we don't have on paper. So let's first find some good projects and some good locations that are going to make the progress and economically develop Montenegro. After that, let's do this on the legal side with our legal teams, and then to communicate with European Commission, because in our most interest is also to explain to everyone and already to act as a member state, because if we share all the details that we have as and act as a member state, and they will already see us like they do as a next member state by the 28th.
Would you accept a final question? Yes. Can you speak in the microphone, please?
Yes, at this moment we already are in a final stage between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. There is a lot of procedures to sign the memorandum of agreement with Ukraine and Moldova, so we can share the experts that can go to Ukraine, Moldova to organize events. Also, it not necessarily means in Montenegro, that it can also be organized in Brussels. But these two memorandum of agreement with these two countries are going to also to help our people from the process to share their expertise, and also for the negotiating teams in Ukraine and Moldova to have these expertise so that we can help them in their process. From our side, we are fully supportive to everything that they are doing. And when it comes to the next question for the migration, this is also one of the closing benchmarks for the chapter 24. At this moment, Ministry of Interior Affairs is working very hard on it. I don't have 100% to inform you about the status about on this question, but I know that this is something that is on the agenda without any final and more details. I just know that this is something that should be finished by the beginning of the next year.
And in the final minute of our time together, I will abuse my position to ask one question from my side as well, which comes back a little bit to the member states and to the EU, because we hear more and more discussions about potentially coalitions of the willing forming in order to respond to some of the big challenges that we're facing at the moment, and further European integration in groups of countries that are willing and able to do so. And in that regard, I'm wondering if Montenegro, how Montenegro would see such a prospect of the EU, becoming sort of a union of different groups of countries with different degrees of integration, and whether it would be willing to join, I don't know, more advanced groups or countries that have decided to integrate further, and whether anything short of membership would be acceptable for Montenegro at all, if it comes to that.
Well, this is not only on the enlargement, this is happening on a lot of other topics, because there is always some of the groups, because of the approach of each country or the group of the countries inside the EU, how they see on and how they react on each topic. I think that Montenegro is going to be a proof where all 27 are going to speak with one voice, and let's do that.
Okay, fair enough. On that note, thank you so much for your patience and for your willingness to come and speak so openly and have such an interesting intervention here at the EPC today. I wish you success in your efforts, and I hope to welcome you again in the future. Please join me also in thanking the Minister for her presentation today. Thank you very much.